it was funny because I would always meet people that could help me on the journey. Somebody with studio equipment, with connection, something. And like I said, you got to make the most of the opportunity. And that's what I would do. I met different people. I met my man Rob, who he didn't have the same quality of equipment that Arthur had, but he had good equipment. And at his house, in his grandmother's, in his room at his grandmother's house, in an apartment, we created a demo tape that really changed everything for me.
Hey girl, where your boyfriend at? 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 Hey girl, where your boyfriend at?
And it was a demo tape, and it was called "Hey Girl, Where Your Boyfriend At." It's a club song, and it was created when I was still a teenager. So he created this song, and prior to that, I was doing hip hop music, like what I call backpack rap. Like think like Tribe Called Quest, you know what I mean? Jungle Brothers. So we're talking about the early 90s, and so that's the kind of vibe that I was on. But we decided to do this one record which was faster, and you had like hip house kind of thing going on, this up-tempo music that people are rapping, everybody's dancing in the club, so it's that kind of vibe. So I wanted to make something like that. So there were songs out at the time. Percolator was it still is, it's like a classic song, but at the time it was a brand new song. You had Percolator, you had Follow Me. These records that are classic records, this was like the new hot shit. And I wanted a song that could go with those songs. So we created this song called Where Your Boyfriend At. And it's like, okay, we made the song. Now what do you do? What do you do with the song? How do we get people to play it? We didn't know. So I tried to figure out who was playing these songs. Like who was somebody that was on the radio? Because my whole thing was, once I played my song on the radio, that's it. I blew up. That's the goal. I need to get my song on the radio. So who's playing on the radio? There was Frank Ski. Frank Ski here in Baltimore. Especially in the early 90s, he was a big deal. So he was in the very coveted, very important 6 to 10 slot. So 6 p.m., 10 p.m., Monday through Friday, he was on the radio and he was playing songs. So he would play, the normal songs, whatever songs were hot, he played those songs. But 9 o'clock, he would go in the mix and he would play some of these up-tempo songs, which club music, house music. These songs, a lot of them, the songs have gotten those names, and so he would play those songs. I wanted my song to be played during that time. Frank Ski had a lot of his own songs that he would play, so I figured, just maybe I could get him to play my songs. He had Doo Doo Brown, Miss Tony was out, and so he's playing these songs. I don't have a direct contact for him. How am I going to get in touch with him? What am I going to do? He's on the radio. We call the request line. Just so you know, that's probably not a good idea. But at the time, that was the only thing I could think of. So we called the request line. They only answer the request line when they say, hey, call her this, call her that. They didn't say that. 6 o'clock, comes on the radio, we just started calling. No answer. So that's okay. I'm a patient person. So we just let the phone ring for like an hour and a half. Literally, it's just ringing, ring, ring, ring. Nobody picked up. Nobody did nothing. And so nobody answered the phone for an hour and a half. And eventually, Rob's grandmother wanted to use the phone. So we lost, pick up the phone, gotta hang up, boom. So it was like, dang, then we gotta start over. So we're playing video games. We're playing Madden. And the next day, same thing again. Try different times, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, this. Sometimes it would ring, somebody would just hang up the phone. Just nobody would say anything. Second day, third day, same thing. You let the phone ring close to an hour. He answers the phone, just kind of like on some, hello? You type V113. And it wasn't like a call. I didn't want to win anything. I just wanted to find out how can I send him this music. I explained who I was. He gave me the address. I sent him the song. It took a couple weeks, but he finally responded back. He called me. He said the record was hot. He wanted me to come to the studio, like a real studio, and re-record the song.
The group CIA, you know, during this time, Don was a big, you know, West Coast. Well, actually, he had a love for a lot, and that actually helped us out, you know, because before music and videos came out, Diamond, and the funny thing about this is, he was a born DJ and a born producer, but definitely never figured that out, you know, at that time frame. But he had a love for different types of music, which helped us out because during that time frame, we didn't know about different groups and how this music was playing in this coast and West Coast, and you know, we just only heard music from up north. So we had one style and one dimension on how the production was going to go and stuff. So, and we liked to dance, you know, and that was a good thing. So we was bringing everything to the table. So CIA basically stand for cash in abundance, and I guess with that we put that out there because that's what we wanted and that's what we was aiming for. And it wasn't no gang or anything like that. You know, the funny thing about CIA, and it was more, just wasn't a group. This was like a brotherhood, and I can say this particular group pretty much saved my life, you know, during that time frame.
We recorded the song in the studio that day. It was surreal for me because, you know, I'm in the car with my homeboys, my man Rob, whose grandmother's house we recorded at, and you know, one of our other homeboys who actually had a car. So none of us had a car. He had a car. He didn't have any music ability, but he had a car. And so, other than that, there would be no way for us to get to the studio. He drove us to the studio. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know where we were going. I'd never been here before. This is pre GPS, pre any of that. We just had to find out where we were going, kind of write down, turn here, do this, turn on that street, and get there. And we got there, and in the studio was Miss Tony, Big Tony, Reggie Reg, and Frank Ski, and then some engineer. So we're in the studio, introduce, you know, myself. I'm super excited, and I'm trying to find myself. So this is kind of weird. So I do want to say this, and I've told this story before, but I haven't told this part. I had on sunglasses like I have on now, except for I only had one lens in. Like one lens was out, and I did that on purpose, right? And so I'm just trying different shit. That wasn't it, okay?
The way we dressed, the way we carried ourselves, our jokes, you know, things we talked about, our inside conversation, you know, we didn't care about what nobody else thought. You know, and I think a lot of people lose that these days. We didn't care about what nobody, you know, thought of us and how we carried ourselves, and you know, we all complimented each other, and you know, and we was all there for each other, and this actually through the years kept us creative, always thinking of different things and trying to reach something that we didn't see, you know, because you know, after the dancing and after the music playing, we all had to go to our separate, I'm not gonna call them hoods, neighborhoods. I say that because during that time frame, you know, it still was neighborhoods. You knew the different people in the neighborhood, so you knew your neighbor. You know, these days you don't even know your neighbor. So it's hoods versus neighborhoods. But then, you know, you come to that community and it's different because those people is not in your bubble.
For the people that may think I didn't have any friends, they did tell me, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But I said, yo, it's just like, dude, does anybody tell Michael Jackson, don't put on one glove? I mean, does anybody tell Janet Jackson, don't sit in the chair that way? No. You know why? Because they're innovators. And me, I thought I was innovating, but I wasn't. But anyway, so I did that. I got the sunglasses on like that, and I'm in the booth. I'm in a real studio. From where I came from, writing raps on the top of my bunk bed, looking out the window, to being in a real recording studio, being in all these basements, and to being in a real recording studio, it was very, it was a like a humbling experience. And so I'm in the studio, get ready to do my verse, and Franksky comes in. And there's a way that the engineer can communicate with the person in the booth, and so you can hear them in the headphones, and they kind of have a button they can push, so they have a microphone they talk into. They're like, yo, this, that, do another take, that kind of thing. And so Franksky's like, yo, take the glasses off. They're fucking distracted. Took the glasses off and so did the verse, but it was really good.
Since you got a friend on, you look real fat. I wanna get with that, please. Girl, where your boyfriend at?
Hey girl, where your boyfriend at? Hey girl, where your boyfriend at? Hey girl, where your boyfriend at? Hey girl, where your boyfriend at? Hey girl, where your boyfriend at?
That really saved us, being able to be in this particular group. This group that we set up our own shows. We, at the time made our own cassettes.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto
The problem is we never seen how all of the things was going to come into place, because as we were trying to put ourselves out by buying cassettes and recording our own music, and then we was like, oh man, we want this beat right here, but how can we get it? So then we bought in the DJ at this time. This is before Diamond started DJing and messing with music. So at that time, we was able to make music off of different samples and tracks, and the DJ play with the music to be able to record music. But we wanted more. We wanted more. We was like, man, how can we take this music with this beat and put us on it and be on this cassette tape? So it was always a challenge, but at the same time we was learning how to put music together, how to format it, how to record it. And then once we did that, and then Diamond wanted more, because he was looking like it was so hard to be able to bring people in. At the time I was more into the choreography of things and writing the music, that straight hardest. But Diamond was one that was thinking outside the box of like, man, we recording, but we gotta find how can we take this music, put it on this tape. And once we put it on this tape right here, had a production on there, then we got to find out how can we get on the cover, because that was the next step.
And I didn't know at the time, but we were recording songs for an EP that Franksky was putting out. So we did that. He took us out to dinner the next day. We were kind of celebrating that the EP was out. We signed contracts and all that kind of stuff. And so the song came out. The song did good. It got played on the radio. I actually remember the first time I heard the song on the radio. We were out window shopping in Foot Locker, and the song comes on the radio. And so what was funny about it is that we heard the song, and then we just started jumping up and down, going crazy. And so, mind you, just imagine if you're shopping and you just randomly see 3 guys jumping up and down, high-fiving, just like people looking at us like, what is wrong with us? I was like, that's me on the radio. It's just kind of like, okay. But, it was just kind of weird. Mind you, we didn't even have enough money to buy anything. We're just looking at what we're going to buy when we get money. And so, I went back there, bought a lot of things from that Foot Locker later. But it was, it's just stuff like that really resonates, and I really remember, like I said, that first time. But, as business went on, I also remember times being on the bus stop and then hearing people drive by playing your song. It's not a good feeling, okay? Unless, you meant to do that. But, that wasn't the goal. It just happened that way. But, a lot of those things I really wanted to talk about. I mean, I can sit and I can talk about, a lot of big willy shit that I've done. But I didn't want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about some of the motivating things and some of the what's involved in the dream part. That part. I wanted to talk about that. And it was the part of working the record and going to clubs and meeting DJs in person, shaking hands, how you doing? I'm so and so, you know, that kind of stuff. Going to record stores and trying to make connections with people. I think those things are missing right now. A lot of people in this era don't get a chance to do that kind of stuff. But it is super, super important character building shit that I miss. And you know, so it's just really good. I remember performing with Miss Tony. We were doing tours, and I was the opening act, and we would perform in different places, and it would just be crazy, like wild, crazy stuff. And we would perform sometimes with go-go groups, and they out of town in the areas where go-go is really big, they would get these kind of responses that were the responses I would have loved to have gotten. I mean, girls taking their clothes off, run to the stage, panties thrown, like that type of shit. That's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to go-go groups. That was like super weird. But just all kind of craziness like that. And so with the success of that record, I was able to see a lot and do a lot of shows and a lot of performing. And it's funny because I would write songs, and you know, you need something needs to motivate you. What is motivating you to create this song? To me, I've always approached songwriting and producing from the standpoint of wanting to get a reaction. I wanted to get a reaction from girls. I wanted girls to dance to the songs. I wanted to make those songs that when it came on, if a girl wasn't on the dance floor, let's say she was out, you know, on the outskirts of the floor, or at the bar, somewhere like that, just up against the wall, just relaxing, kind of scoping things out, and my song came on, I wanted them to run to the floor. I wanted to make those type of records. And so you know, the crew that I was with, like I said, Rob, and he didn't want to make those type of records. He just wanted this to be like a novelty. We made one song just to cross it off the list, but we need to make that head nodding, hip hop type, put your backpack on type stuff, which is cool. But I realized that this was a better lane for me, and it caused us to have a split. But I needed to go down this path, and that's the path that I went on when I wanted to make booty shaking records and records that got people to dance. And so I've been on that journey to make club music, dance music, and that's the journey that I've been on.